How much longer do you think RLEsports has until it dies? TKRL, that question is 100% up to and reliant on Epic and Psyonix. I think, personally, TKRL, we're going to go full screen for this one because I think it's a really good question that deserves full attention. For those that don't know, TKRL asks, how much longer do I personally think RLEsports has until it dies? Being honest, TKRL, Rocket League Esports has the chance to be the #1 esport in the world. If you compare it to other games right now, like League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and everything else at the top, Counter-Strike itself as an esport has existed for essentially 2 decades. That's a really long time for a game. I think we can all agree the core concept of Rocket League is very simple, super digestible. It is something that is very user-friendly and has the ability for anybody to come into being accessible. I can sit down, I can watch it, I can understand it. There's multiple factors and multiple different viewpoints you can take on it. Number one, if you're just a spectator, like I said, the accessibility, the ease of use, the understanding of this, and that happens is great. I will say, downfalls right now is there's too many kids in control and power. If you want Rocket League Esports to grow, the kids need to stop having so much power. Organizations definitely need to control the roster spots. It is not viable for me to talk about a roster and say, well, this player used to be here, but now they're here, now they're here, now they're there. But this player tried out for this player, now they're over here, but now they're over here. And this player is now here, but he was there, now he's there. And that's just one team. And I've got to do that for like 7. It's just unrealistic to have a fan base grow unless people can become fans of teams and not just players. So I think that is very difficult. The reason why I think Rocket League grew as quickly as it did at one point is because of the advantage Dignitas and the Dynasty really did. When I came into Rocket League and had a bunch of people join in for Rocket League, case in point, you look at Supersonic, who I cast with alongside at V1. He came in at Season 6 LAN, right? His first Rocket League experience was the Season 6 LAN in Vegas, because that's where he lives. And he came into that LAN understanding Dignitas are gods versus the rest. He knew immediately this team is the best. They're god tier. They are the team everybody's trying to beat. And it makes it so much easier as a fan to grasp. If I want to get into Overwatch League or if I want to get into the NFL, right? All I have to do is be like, well, what's my local team? Who lives by me? Oh, I'm in this area. Okay, I'm going to vote for that team. That's my fandom, right? That easy accessibility is a blessing and a curse, and you need to find a way to make sure that becoming a fan intrinsic to a team is a core part of that. And part of that is getting the power away from the players. I think you can most definitely still put rules into place to protect the players so they don't just get yeeted out of existence. But at the same time, I'm okay with giving the power to the orgs. I know I'm not a pro, and I know that's not what pros want to hear. But at the end of the day, if it's going to motivate you to bust your ass to treat it like a real job like Garrett G, so you keep your position because you're deserving of it. Not saying anybody's not deserving of it right now. But if orgs have the spots and you have the ability to pick and choose your players and sign contracts and salaries, the players that are busting are going to get paid a ton more. Because when organizations control the spots and the positions, they're willing to invest more. They have more power, they spend more. That's just how it works. If you're telling me as an organization I get control of what happens, yeah, I'll invest a ton more. That's just how it's going to work. You're also going to see the other side of that as well, right? Where when orgs have spots, you are going to see some big roster changes. You're going to see the 6-figure salary plus where they say, hey, I'm talking to this team and I'm bringing Stewie 2K over from Liquid and I'm bringing him and putting him on my roster because I think he's worth the money. And the players that are those standout players, and you know the ones I'm talking about, those guys are going to make a lot of money because they are the LeBrons. They are the top dogs, And we can't have that right now when a lot of the decisions being made are up to 15, 16, 17, 20-year-old kids. It's just not something that I can, as a organization or as a investor or as someone that really wants this game to grow, get 100% behind. I can't. I will not do it. I, as an organization willing to put in millions of dollars, cannot back a 16-year-old kid that determines the outcome of my franchise. I can't do it. And by franchise, I don't mean franchising the spot. I mean the franchise as in the name of Cloud9, TSM, Fnatic, whoever it may be, right? I assume that is one of the reasons why the guys stepped out. I assume that's why part of the petitions have come in, right? So I think that's part of it. So I think the accessibility of Rocket League is perfection. You've heard numerous esports owners like Carlos from G2 talk about how perfect Rocket League is as an esport. I think that's another reason why it could be massive, is the concept of it is accessible. There's no violence. I'm not talking about counter-terrorists and terrorists. I'm not talking about killing or abilities or champions or things changing all the time, right? It is soccer with cars. Ball goes in net. No violence. Very, very simple, right? So because of that, it's a wet dream for sponsors, endemic and non-endemic. Endemic being people that are in the same demographic of what you're doing. An endemic sponsor for video games is like a peripheral sponsor, like Omen. #ad. So I think things like that are great. You can also get a lot of non-endemic sponsors as well. Non-endemic sponsors being like Ford. Even though they're both cars, the company itself is not a direct correlation to esports, like a peripheral or something like that. So I think that ability is entirely up to Psyonix and Epic. Rocket League's ideology has been Rocket League esports, we want to be a sport. We don't want it to be a esport. We want it to be the focus of a sport. They want it to be on the ESPNs, the sports nets, they want it to be a premier sport. And I think it's the only esport that has a chance to really do that. Because as much as I hate it, I busted my ass in hopes of working for ESPN Esports and working alongside that team. Shoutouts to Dave, shoutouts to Thomas, shout out to the entire crew over there. I love all of you. And it's unfortunate what happened. But the old boomer mentality of esports, these video games, until those people are no longer in position of power, that is going to be an uphill battle. And Rocket League is the only one that I can see them slightly giving in on. So because of that, I think as long as Epic Games and Psyonix continue to trend in the way that they are, but are also actively looking for other ways to grow it into a traditional side, how long is it going to last? I think it's limitless, man. You could see Rocket League becoming a mainstay. That is why myself and so many other people are passionate about this game from the very beginning. Many of us believe that Rocket League could be a thing you see every day on Tuesday night, ESPN, Wednesday night, Thursday night, the days where most people don't watch TV. I could see it also becoming a standard. I really do. Whether we get there or not is entirely up to Psyonix and Epic Games. That personally scares me a little bit. But with that said, they have 5 people on their esports staff. I think they're making fantastic moves. I think Epic Games has some plans, and I hope they continue to do what they're doing, especially with these sponsorship deals and their integrations. But we'll see what happens, man. We will see what happens. But I think Rocket League has a very long shelf life. If League of Legends can survive a decade, why not Rocket League? And longer. If Counter-Strike, a game that is literally focused on shooting and killing and terrorists and counter-terrorists, what's the minimum amount of you think Psyonix and Epic don't do good with what they have? T-Krell, if you want my honest opinion, I think they've upped their chances already, and they are blessed to have the game that they have. My honest opinion. I think Psyonix has shot themselves in the foot so many times about this esport. But because Rocket League is so perfect as a game, they get away with it because there's no competition. The easiest example I can give, Avalanche, I'm going to do with one product. You guys have seen me do this before. Hey, chat, who wants one? You guys want one? Can't buy them. They don't exist. Not a thing. Hey, chat, who wants one? You guys want a shirt that has a logo on it for the Rocket League Championship Series? Even got it in white. With the OG colors, too. That is one of, if not the easiest examples I can give. In 5 years, man. Those don't exist? No. You can't get them. They're not a thing you can purchase.